О, вон там третий появляется. Ну, сука, все. Нам пизда.
Russian forces are frantically and desperately pouring soldiers and armor into the Pokrovsk sector, trying to force a long-held delusion of Putin's, that Ukrainian positions could be encircled. Their attempts, however, are only compounding their losses. Today, near Mirnorod, Russian troops launched an assault under poor weather conditions, hoping to break through Ukrainian defenses. Elements of the Perun Corps from the 79th Air Assault Brigade were involved, advancing with heavy armor in what appears to be a hasty, ill-coordinated attack. Ukrainian units, however, were prepared. Using fiber-optic guided drones, Ukrainian forces struck with precision, destroying multiple armored vehicles and forcing Russian troops to retreat. This pattern reflects a broader issue for Moscow. Massing men and machines into heavily contested areas without adequate reconnaissance or support is producing catastrophic losses. Each failed assault not only weakens Russian combat capability in the Pokrovsk sector, but also highlights the growing tactical advantage of Ukrainian forces, who continue to defend, counter, and strike with surgical efficiency. Putin's obsession with surrounding Pokrovsk is proving costly, with repeated Russian attacks bogged down and failing to achieve even minor gains. During the massive attack on Russian critical infrastructure, Ukrainian drones strike Russia's third most powerful thermal power station. Early on November 6th, the Kostroma thermal power plant, Russia's third most powerful, was targeted. Photos and videos from the scene, published by Astra, confirm the incident. The plant is located in the city of Volgorachensk in the Kostroma region. The facility sustained damage, with local sources reporting explosions and a fire on the premises. The regional authorities reported an attack by Ukrainian drones and explosions. Emergency services are currently working at the site to eliminate the consequences at the energy infrastructure facilities. Power supply has not been disrupted, and there are no casualties, the head of the region assured. The regional governor stated that Russian air defense forces fought off the drone attack. Residents of Volgorachensk reported several powerful explosions and flashes in the area of the power plant. Photos and videos that appeared on social media confirm a strike on the facility. The Kostroma TPP is the third largest thermal power station in Russia by installed capacity. The Kostroma TPP is the third largest thermal power station in Russia by installed capacity. It supplies electricity to a significant part of the country's central region, including industrial facilities of defense importance. The Russians are showing how long an FPV waiter drone can lie in wait for a target. In the video, the drone stayed on the road for at least a full day waiting for its target. But when it finally appeared, the drone was unable to take off and exploded just a few meters from the vehicle. In the ongoing conflict, both Russian and Ukrainian forces are increasingly turning to stationary drones as a new tactical tool on the battlefield. Much like modern landmines, these drones are deployed to wait in ambush, hidden along likely enemy routes or near key positions. When enemy units approach, the drones are activated to strike armored vehicles, supply convoys, or troops, often with devastating effect. This tactic allows forces to extend their defensive reach without risking soldiers directly, creating unpredictable hazards that slow enemy advances and disrupt logistics. Ukrainian units have successfully used drone ambushes to target Russian convoys and armored columns, while Russian forces have similarly attempted to defend strategic points with stationary drones. The rising use of these devices reflects a shift towards smarter, technology-driven warfare. Ambush drones act as force multipliers, turning previously secure supply lines into dangerous zones and forcing opponents to adapt constantly. In a war increasingly defined by precision and remote strikes, stationary drones are proving to be one of the most effective tools for both offense and defense on the ground in Ukraine. Ukrainian intelligence intercepted a conversation between two Russian soldiers, trying to figure out why assault operations in their sector were delayed. It turned out that around 20 Russians refused to carry out combat missions and are not communicating with their command. According to Russian military terminology, 500s are those who have refused to participate in combat, deserters, or others who disobey orders.
Yes, information received. Let's find out what those jerks are up to. If not, we'll hit hard. I got it, yes.
There are 20 people sitting there, probably 500 of them. They are being wound up right away to encrypt from the command.
Yes, I got it. Well, it seems those 500 were also messed with. Damn. Yes, I got it. All right, I'll declare them as saboteurs. Now I understand, yes.
Russia's Defense Minister Belousov claims the U.S. conducted drills in October simulating a preemptive nuclear missile strike against Russia. Now what? Another red line threat incoming?
Fourth, the United States, the U.S. Army, plans to adopt a new medium-range missile system, Dark Eagle, with hypersonic missiles with a range of 5,500 kilometers by the end of the current year. Furthermore, the deployment of this system is planned in Europe and the Asia-Pacific region. The flight team of such a missile from the territory of Germany, where this missile system is planned to be deployed to targets in the central part of Russia, will be about 6 to 7 minutes. And fifth, Washington regularly conducts exercises of strategic offensive forces. The latest such exercise, Global Tender 2025, focused on the issues of, I want to emphasize this, preemptive missile nuclear strikes on Russian territory, took place in October of this year. Speaking in general, this is a unified set of measures, including possible United States plans for conducting nuclear tests, which significantly increase the level of military danger for Russia. From this it follows that we must maintain our nuclear potential in readiness to inflict unacceptable damage on the enemy under any circumstances and respond adequately to Washington's steps in the interest of guaranteed security for our country. Taking the above into account, I consider it advisable to begin preparations for a full-scale nuclear test immediately. The readiness of the forces and resources of the central test site on the Novaya Zemlya archipelago allows for its execution in a short time frame.
At the NATO forum in Bucharest, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte announced that NATO countries now produce more ammunition than Russia. According to him, dozens of new production lines are being opened, and existing ones are being expanded. NATO produces more ammunition than in recent decades. We are already turning the tide on ammunition. Until recently, Russia was producing more ammunition than all NATO allies put together. But not anymore, he emphasized, speaking to representatives of the defense industry. This was made possible by the decision of NATO leaders to invest up to 5% of GDP in defense by 2035. The alliance is actively purchasing tanks, airplanes, drones, cyber weapons, and ammunition. Romania, which hosted the forum, plans to increase its defense budget to 3.5% of GDP by 2030. To counter global threats, NATO relies not only on quantity, but also on innovation. Through the NATO Innovation Fund and the Diana platform, the alliance supports startups that create new defense technologies. NATO is also expanding cooperation with partners such as the EU, Ukraine, Japan, and Australia. Joint efforts allow scaling up production and speeding up deliveries. So, let's work together to deliver a safer and more prosperous future for us all, the NATO Secretary General concluded, urging the industry not to delay the expansion of capacity.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comments section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.